So how else can these young entrepreneurs who have great ideas, different ideas on how to solve Africa's problems, how can they get funding, capital for their companies? Do you have any ideas on
I
how?
mean, there's so much. Look, what in my line of, I mean, apart from what I do with African Brand Warrior, I sit on different C-suite discussion and boards where monies are lent out, from other countries, from Europe, from, various markets. I don't want to mention which one those are. And there are grants that are sitting there, wanting to invest and support. Even the World Bank itself has it.
Yeah.
The challenge has been that a lot of times people have great ideas, but they don't know how to put it on paper. They don't know how to craft their business plan. They don't know how to sell their ideas. What is this big idea that you have? And how do you see it translating, 5 years down the line? They only think about today. Hence the reason we go back to the earlier question. I think it was your second question where I said it's so important to have people come on board on your team. Go in and find people who are good at what they do and make them a part of your board or make them a part of your advisory team. Let them invest in you, the knowledge, the support, and give back by making them a partner in it. Or just go in with some agreements to people who are willing to help you and say, hey, listen, I don't have anything to offer you right now. I don't even know if my business is going to work. Can you help me to do my business plan? Can you help me to do what I need to do to be able to get that fund that is sitting there, at the World Bank or sitting at wherever it is? And if that comes through, I pay you a percentage, of the income. So money is there. Money is not the issue. The problem is the people who, apart from the World Banks and, whether it's the DFIDs or whoever else are really ready to give you this money, is that people don't know how to put the proposals forward. That is one. Secondly, is that we have our own institutions within Africa, the banks. And for me, they're the ones that are killing. But unfortunately, you can't blame them because they're also a part of a bigger picture. If you're going to be going and lending money at 22%, 24%, how do you expect somebody to survive and be able to pay you back, that kind of money? If we talk about the agri sector, which I also happen to be a part of and chair, how do you expect a farmer who doesn't have anything? I mean, these are people who don't work with bank statements. They don't know when money comes in, when money goes out. They don't keep track of all that. What collaterals do you want from these people? How do you want to be able to loan to them so that they could grow their produce, be able to sell and pay you back? So it really needs a complete mind shift. Money is out there. We just need to find different ways of getting it and how to get that investment locally and, internationally. Right now, Africa is where people want to invest. I'm open to investment coming in, but I'm not open to investment if it's going to come and take away from you. Invest in me to be able to make me help my people grow, but as we grow, you grow. I don't know if that's making sense, and that's talking back about collaboration. It should not be about, hey, listen, I've got this $100,000 and I want to come and put it in you, and I want you to turn my $100,000 into $500,000, and then I remain with nothing, not even $50,000.
Yeah. It has to go two ways. You both have to benefit from the transaction.
Absolutely.
So speaking of, people want to invest in Africa. So who are the people who want to invest in Africa? Are these like foreign investors, or are these Africans?
And Africans in Africa who want to do that. You look at, I'll take a name like Dangote. Dangote is a known player on the continent. Nigerian, but you look at all the different markets that he has gone and invested in. I wouldn't mention one of the countries that he tried to get into, but unfortunately, there was too much of people wanting hands shooken, and envelopes exchanged, which doesn't tie in with what his firm believes in. So that became a no opportunity, and he didn't enter that certain market. But he is already going out. He is creating jobs. He's in different. You have Strive, as you're out of southern part of Africa, and he's making a difference in his own ways. You have investors. Alibaba is one of them. Looking at the African youth and seeing there is potential. So I don't see this being as a problem. But here is my question to the diaspora. Okay, what is it? The diaspora is the largest funder back into Africa. Okay, Now, can you imagine if the diaspora came together and said, hey, listen, we're a group of, let's say, 30 people, and we 30 people between us can raise $30,000. Let's just say per annum. And then you take another 30 with 30,000, $1,000 per annum. Each one just puts in, $10 a week or $100 a month, and you've got your $1,000. And they identify projects within Africa that are startups. Forget the big boys and say, hey, listen, okay, you know what? We're going to go and put in $10,000 in this one. We're going to put 10,000 in that. We're going to put 5 in this, 5 in that. Can you imagine the ecosystem that you create of Africans sitting out there that can actually invest within Africa and then come back home to grow it and take it to the next level? The knowledge is out there. It is out there. So that's the thing. How can we do this? How can we reach out to our fellow Africans that are sitting out there and say, hey, listen, it's not all about just wanting to buy land. I mean, land is the biggest investment, any African does. I mean, even in India, they do that, when you buy land and then you sit on it. And all you do is you want to build a house with 5 bedrooms and a swimming pool. Who are you going to show? Go build a nice 3-bedroom for yourself and your family or your parents, something that you have something to come back home to, or, to rent out, and then go and invest in businesses, invest in people, That's the way I see opportunity for us to grow.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I think, so the diaspora wants to invest back on the continent, but also there is a problem of trust. Like, how do I make sure that my money comes back, or I make a profit, or the money that I'm sending is going to the right people? How do I build this trust without being on the continent? So I've talked to like my very first guest, and he was telling me, hey, there is this issue of trust. People cannot start businesses in Africa while living abroad. You have to be on the continent for you to have any chance of like succeeding in business.
I just want to address that part of the trust, and that's why you can see I'm clenching my hands under my table. It is true, but again, who's creating this image? It's we ourselves. We don't trust each other. Even within Africa, you see somebody else who's got a better car, a better house. My goodness, the kind of thoughts that come into your head, like, how did he get that money? And who did he, he's probably got some political person backing him or whatever. So we are our own problem. We are our own disease. The only way that you want to be able to create this trust, you want to be able to collaborate, be a part of it. Be a part of it. It's not about, I'm not talking about you lending money. It's about saying that, listen, this is what I am able to do. This is where my strengths lie. And this is what I can bring onto the table in your business. For example, if you spoke to me, in an initial discussion, you mentioned you're into software. I don't know zilch about software, okay? But I'm great at marketing. So that doesn't mean that you and I cannot collaborate. And if I was to ask the same question, to a diasporan African sitting out there, why should I trust you with my money, for example? It's not like it's any different there. It's not like I'm going to get a visa to be able to say, oh my God, I'm going to fly. I have to chase so-and-so because they've got my money, So I think it works both ways. The only way it works is purely on the basis of, wait a second, I have something that can add value to what you're doing. And, you have something that I see we can work together and take it to the next level, because it's about what strength do you have and what strength do I have, and how can we leverage that, and then take it to the next level.
Yeah. Great.